We welcome you back here to the River City Hardball podcast presented by DBAT Jacksonville. And what a pleasure it is to welcome on the commissioner and the VP of operations of the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, Chris Lein and Fran Delaney, join us here this morning. Guys, you just put a wrap on year 3, Chris. Have you been able to exhale? What's year 3 been like for you guys?
It was a very quick year. When we set the schedule up, we we didn't realize how fast this thing was going to go. And then, we were blessed with pretty good weather most of the year. We got all our games in that we scheduled, and we're happy for that for the kids because they come down here to play. And as I told each one of them in the after the game when they were eliminated from the playoffs, this is the next league that you're in. Demand that they do the fields for you and get it right for you because that's what you come down here and play for.
Fran, you've just seen the conclusion of year 3 of the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. I mean, what's your perspective on now year 3?
Man, it was great. It really was. I said it to Chris the other day when we played our game out there at UNF. I was like, all the work you put in, all the time you wonder what we're doing, and you see that and how much enjoyment the boys got out of it, which was really cool. And then just seeing, the people that came out and supported it. I mean, we've had so much support. It's been great. I mean, the community's kind of stepped up and really supported us. And it's just the talent 2 level has just gone way up. I mean, from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. And, if we continue making that, that's fine. We're getting some really good kids. And even better, we're getting good kids, if that makes, great players, really good kids that, don't give us any headaches. And that's the really cool thing about it. That we don't have to worry about.
Chris, you just capped off the season with a championship game at UNF. Great facilities over there. Joe Mercadante, the new UNF head coach, threw out the first pitch to Rick Wilkins, a major league player for so many years around here in Jacksonville for a long time. That must have been pretty special to cap it off at UNF like that.
It was something that we wanted to do. We wanted to finish at one of the better venues in the city. And UNF was kind enough to take our call, for lack of a better phrase. And then we finally got it negotiated out. And Irv Lewis and Corey Levine over there did a great job for us, and we really appreciate their assistance in letting us get out there. Fran and I, we wanted to showcase our talent. Our first thought was to put all the playoffs at UNF, but it wasn't available. Well, that's fine. We got at least the championship game there, and I think we showed the city a little bit more about what we're capable of doing when we run an event like that. Also, so hopefully that'll open up some more doors for some other venues for us.
And Chris, it was a good game too.
Yeah. Oh, 2-0 shutout. Turner Seelinger of the Dolphins threw a one-hitter. It was a 2-hitter until the next morning. Then it turned into a 1-hitter when the official score changed the play. But we have that discretion within 24 hours, I'm told, so we're okay. But yeah, no, Carson Hurst and Turner, they turned it up. I mean, it was strikes. Boys were swinging. We had a ground rule double that kind of started the floodgate a little bit. If you call a 2-0 game a floodgate, I think the guys were a little nervous at first, a little anxious, being away from Atlantic Coast like we were in a different park. But they came through and they played some good baseball, and they gave their fans and their parents a good show, and we were real pleased about it. And they were. It was disheartening to see the Stingrays, the best team in the league, get beat, but good pitching beats the better hitting, as it always happens.
Fran, you touched on a moment ago the level of talent in this league, how much it's spiked in recent years that you guys have done this league. How could you compare year 1 to now the conclusion of year 3 in terms of the talent that you've seen?
Well, the first thing, the number one thing is better pitching. I mean, a better pitchers, a bigger pool of pitchers, which helped, right? We had a lot of guys develop. We had, not saying that the talent year 1 was, bad. It was just, you can see that coming together. We have a lot more guys coming in, better arms. Even you can tell by our numbers as far as what level Division I down to JUCO and NAIA, the numbers were a little bit moving up the chain, so to speak. We had a lot of great players, that hitting wise that Chris and I were looking at day one in the cages and go, man, this guy can hit. This guy looks like he can swing, great swing, and guys throwing, and it came to fruition. I mean, just for instance, the home run, the leading home run had, I think, 4 was the leading home runs. I think I'm checking right now. Yeah, 4 was the leader in home runs. And everyone's like, oh, it's small field, and we'll hit a bunch. And last year, I think it was 11, somewhere around there. It might have been somewhere around there, maybe 9, 10. But you could see that's the difference. We had a lot of really good pitchers, starting pitching that went a long way, and the relievers the middle relief was pretty good too. So I think that was the difference, in my opinion. The hitters, I won't say they struggled; they were just facing really good pitching. I mean, and that like Chris just said, pitching. And he's a pitcher, so he's going to say this, but pitching wins over offense.
Where you got to go there, man?
How would you evaluate the talent level in year 3 now, Chris, compared to year 1?
Well, both between year 1 and 2, our main emphasis was to get more pitching. Between the year 2 and 3, it was to continue to get more pitching. We wanted to have 6 teams. We were only just able to put 5 teams together. I actually had this year the guys that had committed to the league. I had them recruit for me. I says, "Hey, give me some pitchers. We'll write you a check for a little recruiting fee." And we got about 7 or 8 pitchers that way. Guys that they knew, and they played on the same team and all that. We dispersed the talent fairly equally, I thought, this year. And we have to do the same thing again in between the year 3 and year 4. We have to keep getting more and more pitching, because the hitters will follow. The good hitters will follow once the good pitching is here. The good hitters will follow because they want to be tested as well.
Chris, you guys have expanded. You added the Stingrays this year. The league is continuing to expand. Are you at a level now where you feel comfortable? Are you wanting to expand to even more teams? How do you feel about that, Chris?
I think we still want to do it slowly. We're shooting again for 6 teams next year, and it looks like we're going to add another team again next year. Along with the recruiting of it all, I don't want to jump to 8 right away, because Fran and I still run this thing like a mom and pop operation. I mean, if we were going to go to 8 teams, we're going to have to add a level of administration that, quite frankly, we're probably not ready for yet. So we'll go slow and we'll build it as we go.
How do you feel about the teams that you're at right now, Fran?
I like it. I mean, I agree with Chris. I think we're on the same page here with, the slow build, right? You see it all the time. You jump to too many, it becomes too watered down. It becomes, it's just something we don't want to deal with. Where if we have the opportunity to put people on waiting lists and play half seasons and things like that, that would be better, and more control. Like you said, we're not ready to expand out over. We don't want to bring too much work on ourselves to where we short the kids, right? And that's the main thing, and that's what would happen if you go to 8 teams. You got to have 2 fields going at the same time, really, to get enough games in. And now we're talking about somebody run game changer, somebody run the operations and in 2 different places at 2 different times, and more people to hold a rake and push clay around, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on that, makes it a lot harder for us. And I think it's, we're not quite ready for that. Now I'm not saying that we wouldn't want to get there eventually, that would be great, but it's going to have to be something slow. And we want to bring people on that are, have the same concept we do, about development, what the league's about, understanding it and not trying to make it into anything it's not.
Chris, I think what's cool too about this league and the progression of it is certainly now the local kids and coaches around Jacksonville know about the CCBL. And I feel like, people and coaches and players around the country are starting to get the buzz about this league. Do you feel that?
Yes, I do. And I've been really feeling it the last couple of weeks, because I'm getting calls from other college leagues that are still playing, looking for some of our arms because they know that we finished up. So I've been in conversation with a couple of coaches at a couple different leagues, and suggesting some players. And then I step back. I give them the contact information, and then it's between the player and that particular coach. But that also opens up a new niche for us. Our biggest niche to date has been the incoming freshmen playing, so they can get the speed of the game up. But now all of a sudden we go, well, wait a minute, we can kind of be a feeder system to some of these other leagues because they're running out of arms with about 2 or 3 weeks to go. And as long as our guys are healthy, as long as they're not reaching innings limits with their colleges, they have a chance to pitch in 2 college leagues in the summer, and more eyes on you, the better.
We have a development here. Fran has ditched the glasses. Fran,
Yeah, too much glare. I was like, I want people to see the truth in my eyes.
there you go.
Is that what we're going to call it? Okay, we'll call that.
They are brown.
I'll tell you this, Fran, it makes the hat pop a little more. I like that.
There you go. There you go.
CCBL hat is that's right.
One of those, Andrew. We got to get you one.
For sure. A few more minutes here with the VP of Operations, Fran Delaney, Commissioner Chris Lein of the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. Fran, are you happy with how things are going? Where do you feel like you guys want to improve? Where do you feel like things are going well?
I think talent-wise, operation-wise, I think things are going well, right? But there's little things we need to do better. I think, whether it's, getting more of a social media presence during games. We talked about maybe bringing on a social media, person during games to release videos and updates of what's going on, because that's important. And it's not a lot of cost in that, obviously, on the Twitter or whatever they're calling it now, or, Instagram and all those things. Along with, being able to give access to, stats consistently. And, I've had some conversations. We use Game Changer, had some conversation with them. Some of the things they're updating for the league, and Game Changer is really going to help us. It's really more informational things to get out so people can, kind of understand it a little bit better. Little things that happen this year that you don't really look at, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but, we had 3 or 4 people watching streams, up to 25 or 30 people this year. All those things matter. Like, we don't know who's watching it, but it's probably family and friends, but that's great. The more on there, the better, the more we're seen. Doing those type of things, I think is important, along with just, expanding our playing fields. I mean, Atlantic Coast's been great, in that area, and, maybe getting more opportunities for the kids to play, like Chris said, at bigger venues around town or things like that, and just kind of expand. Everything is focused on making it better, a better situation, or a better summer for the kids. And how can we do that? What are the things that make that happen? And the parents getting information, those type of things, being able to send out the coaches. We had several kids sign. We'd like to make a big deal of it. The All-Star team's a big deal. Anytime somebody does something from our league, if we can help promote them in any way, we want to do that. So, I mean, those are the little things, we're talking about. Nothing major. I love the fact that we play 7 innings. I think that's perfect in this hot summer. You get beyond that and people start to get wore out. So nothing that I can think of besides just a couple little things. And Chris and I, at the end of every year, sit down and make a list, and, we start going at it again and seeing what we can do to make it better. So it's just improving the overall communication out into the world, so to speak. And you guys, the media, and yourself, and some other folks have done a great job helping us with that. So we want to continue that and again, enhance it for the players.
Chris, Fran talked about that list. I'm sure you've already, dug into that. What's on your list?
I'm not going to look at my email account for a while because I saw another application come in this morning for next year. I'm just going to put that stuff aside for a little bit. What's on my list? I think we're probably going to lose a couple of coaches, so I got to start looking for coaches again. A couple of our coaches got promotions during the season. Mark Hernandez, who managed the Sharks, went from Middle Georgia State to Wagner College, D1, up in New York, as their assistant coach and recruiter. So we're pleased for Mark on that. And then Jesse Weathers he was a Carl Albert State Junior College coach in Oklahoma, and it looks like he's going to Albany State. Albany State.
Albany.
And we're pleased on that on the coaches. I mean, the coaches got a little resume filler themselves in this type of league. Jason Hatcher did a good job for us at the last minute. And the Stingrays were formed a week before the season started. because all of a sudden we had an influx of pitchers. I had enough infielders and outfielders on a waiting list to form 2 more teams, but didn't have the pitching. So we, again, it comes down to what's going to be the best for the kids. And in that case, it was just, let's just do 1 team instead of trying to stretch it out and do 2 more teams. Keith Daniels is retiring, although I'll call it a firing because he lost in the playoffs. Just kidding right there, Keith. But no, he did a great job with the Turtles, and he got a lot of the young bucks, a lot of the young UNF bucks on his team. A lot of the Orange Park boys and the St. John's Country Day guys that he used to work with, put them all together, and had a pretty good squad out there. Zach Bacon, I know he wants to come back. I know Jesse wants to come back, but we'll see how this goes. I told him, I said, dude, you guys are in higher planes now. There might be other college, other summer leagues looking for you. So we'll talk about that back in January. So it's onward and upward, man, and that's the fun part about this thing. All my years in coaching in minor leagues, I always hated the last week of the season because you grow fond of the kids. You want to get rid of them because you've had enough of them, but you still grow fond of them. The same thing happened here. It always happens every year with me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, I won't take up too much more of your time. I wanted to ask you guys about your relationship with DBAT and how that worked this year. I know that they've welcomed you guys in to use their facilities. How has that process been for you guys?
Go ahead, Fran. You're my kind of my liaison with DBAT.
It's great, except for I still haven't brought that check by to them. So they're not probably happy with me right now. I mean, it's real close to my house. I drive by it like every day, but I always forget this. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna do that today. So if you're watching, you'll get that check today. No, man, it's been great. I mean, it's Zach's done a great job for us over there. He's just so like, yeah, man, let's do it. Yeah, sure, sounds great. Yeah, I'll open it up. Great, whatever. And the greatest thing we get from it, I mean, the kids, to be honest with you, I forget about it during the season. That and I don't mean that in a bad way. They're all using it, right? They're all going in there and using it, and they're taking advantage of it. And you ask them during the season, how's it going? They're great, everything's fine. The greatest thing is when we get with Zach, and he's like, I always ask, well, how are the kids? Did they do what they're supposed to do? And he never yet has he said, no, they're doing this. You got to be watching this, or we got a call about something. So they're going there and they're following the rules and they're doing what they need to do, which is most important. I mean, I think it's great, the weather is around here, and these kids have some downtime and they can go over and work on their game. I mean, that's what we're about, right? Development. So having DBAT as part of it is great. And the guys rave about, the place and how it's set up and how they're treated in there. So I can't complain one bit about it. They have done a great job with us. And we'll promote them in any way we can because, again, this is a great partnership from a standpoint of getting the guys some work when they can't, because there's not a lot of places to go and they have to go hit and things, especially outside if they wanted to go do it and it's 1,000 degrees. So, they go inside and get some work in and we got a lot of guys, they're gym rats, cage rats and stuff, and they go in and work a lot. And we got other guys that, go in when they need it. And I believe some of the coaches this year had some practices in there too, like had, team outings and stuff where they went in there and worked as a team. So it's been great. I mean, I no complaints, and everyone seems to like the facility. So I no problems with that. And like I said, DBAT and all the folks over there are very easy to work with.
Andrew, I'll give you a good example of how flexible they are. When we get all the kids here on a Thursday, we work out Friday and Saturday, take Sunday off, and start the games on Monday. Thursday, the weather at that time of year was cruddy. So rather than going outside and not getting any BP done or not getting any thrown in, Zach and I were able to work a schedule for the 2 days where they can get an hour and a half in the cage, each team. So, I mean, it worked out great. And the guys also got to know each other real close quarters like that. They got to know each other real quick, and which I think helped with the team bonding.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, some days, like you guys know, in Florida, it's going to rain. Some days it's going to be really hot. A lot of times it happens every day like that in Florida in the summertime. So it's always a cool option to have for sure. But last thing, what's now your challenge as you complete year 3, Fran? What are you going to do now? You're just going to relax and then just going to go head on into year 4? What's going to happen between now and next season for you?
Well, football season's now between now and then for me.
That's right.
Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, no, Monday. No, I'm just kidding. We slowly get back into it as, it kind of starts picking up. And all of a sudden, Chris is like, we start texting each other. Hey, did you see enough? Someone else signed up. Hey, someone else signed up. Hey, someone else signed up. And then we just start going from that standpoint. Usually Chris around, I think it's like September or so, will shoot an email out to all the coaches again, just kind of a reminder of the league. And I think what we probably are going to try to do a better job this year of kind of staying involved throughout the year. I'm going to try to do a better job of that on Twitter and things like that, just getting things out. I mentioned to all the kids, all the players, stay in touch with us where you fall, how you're doing, because we'd love to, just add those type of things of and that helps them. So, that and just starting to get organized, from a technology side of things with Game Changer and things, making sure that's right and being able to be ready for when the season kicks off. We are, full go. And also we're going to be out there looking for people who want to get involved, with the league. So we're going to promote it and try to get people involved from, anywhere from helping us out to on the field to, behind the scenes, whether it's sponsorships, things like that. We're going to talk to some folks and see what we come up with. And again, all of it goes back into the kids, to make it a better experience for them. And I think it's important to keep that going all year round. So we're not killed those last couple months where we're trying to get everything done. So that's my goal.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I think there's a part of what we're doing with this league that I want to improve upon with myself. And that is with this portal business going on, all of a sudden our kids are coming up to us and asking, hey, you have contacts, I'm looking to meet this guy or speak with this gentleman about his school. So I want to increase our awareness, if you will, or our connectivity with schools regarding the portal. And because if the kids see that we can help on that end of it, not trying to broker anything for them or anything, but just kind of point them in a direction. Hey, I understand this guy can help you, or you need to talk to this guy. I think we need to improve upon that because it's certainly on the minds of the kids every day. Hell, they're talking about it in the dugout all the time. And as far as, Fran touched upon it, I think it's getting closer and closer to the time where we add another layer of administration help to make the league grow. It is time to start handing out more and more duties to other people because I'm getting old. I'm getting old.
What do you mean getting?
Hey,
sorry.
Don't be like that, Francis. But
it's all about delegation.
Delegation. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. So basically what we're looking for is people who want to work for free like us. Work your butt off for free.
I knocked that out of the resume. The Indeed report does not say that anymore. Well, that's it. I mean, that's it. I think to make this place grow and at the level and the quality that we want, we've got to find we need some more quality people.
Understand. Hey, before we get out of here, mentioned a couple of your players that performed well for you this year. I thought it was interesting, Chris, that you guys gave an Ohtani award for a dual player. I love that. That's cool. Tell me about some of your superlative players this year, Chris.
Sean Miller deserved that Ohtani award. He hit. I think he won the batting title with 390 something.
391. Well, it actually was 4 something.
You got it. Go ahead, Fran. You got the stat right there.
Yeah, I got it right. It was 407 that he had won the batting title with, and he was money all year as far as both ways.
Yeah,
and competed, man. That guy competes hard, and I love watching it because he works hard. He competes, so he did a good job. But if you look at like the leaders, they're all like within several points of each other. So there's a lot of guys that are right up there. I remember last weekend of the season, Chris was figuring out the numbers. Well, if he goes 2 for 2 and he doesn't get a hit, and he does that, and they got that. There's other guys that were up there all year long. James Omen was up there all year long. Chase Bostic and Kay DeBreeze and all these guys. Matt Clements, forgot about Matt as far as the pitcher, batting. These guys were up there fighting and rotating at number 1 all year long. And then just other guys. Like Boone Hosey was just, there's a stat quality at bats, and he just killed it at quality at bats. He had over 50 quality at bats, which is important when you're hitting. And pitching wise, I mean, we had several guys, and one was featured. One was featured, Wednesday night with Carson Hurst, who led the league with wins, 7 wins. I mean, he again another guy who competes, and of course Nathan Webb was by far the best pitcher. I wouldn't say by far. That's but probably the best pitcher we had and talked about. I mean, I think he finished with 80 something strikeouts, something like that, and like a point. I think I got it right here, 0.89 ERA. I mean, he was just. I mean, he would always start out a little shaky, and then he would just settle in, and then it would be just money. And so I think he went to the last batter. He had a perfect game and gave up a hit in one of the. I mean, he was just really good this year. And Steve Sexton was another guy. I think he's a third-year guy for us, right? Steve was first, second, third year, a little sidewinder. And, he was the quiet assassin is what I called him because next thing you look up, he was middle relief. You'd look up and his ERA is 1.47. I was like, dang, Steve's having a great year. He just didn't even know. And so there was a lot of them. Turner Seelinger, who pitched the other night, which did a really good job. I mean, there's a bunch of them. And, I mean, it was just really impressive watching those guys play. And our local guys are going to be playing local at UNF and some of the place FSCJ. It's going to be nice to kind of follow them. So, letting those guys, really excel. And there's more that I can name so many of them that did well, and I'm missing so many of them, but it was really good to watch. I mean, who was it? What's his name? Waz
Rawling. Yeah,
man, he made a play the other night, 2 great plays, and he was doing it all year. I mean, the guy was money. So it was fun to watch. The games were fun to watch. I mean, of course you have some of those games that get out of hand, but for the most part, watching these guys talent-wise was really impressive and really gelled together. Pretty quick as a team, these guys gelled together, and that was fun to watch.
Hey, and one last thing, Andrew. We named our all-star team, and the players voted on it. We didn't. The one thing we do with the all-star voting, the players are not allowed to vote for their own teammates. So they've got to, kind of keep an eye on what's going on. I thought they did a pretty good job picking the all-star squad this year.
That's true.
I like that. I mean, not having your players vote for their own teammates, that's good. It keeps awareness of the rest of the league, which is good. And again, naming those all-stars and the talent that you just spoke of, Fran, just really speaks to the progression of talent and the growth of the league. So thanks again, guys, for all your hard work this year. Congratulations on year 3. I know this is a labor of love for you guys, and you work hard at it. So really thanks for all your hard work, and congratulations on 3 years now.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks for everything, and thanks for your help as well.
Yeah, great job with these. I really like
Fran, thanks for your help.
Yeah, I was okay.
Yeah, when you
I look better than I work.
That's a wrap for year 3 of the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. If you want to find out more, ccbljacks.com. Check out their website. Commissioner Chris Lein, VP of Operations Fran Delaney. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thank you, sir.